kind of like light. Light that is on focus and diffuse has no power. But if you focus it with a magnifying glass, you can use it to start a fire. If you focus light even more, it becomes a laser that can cut through steel and kill cancer. Look at it, light. When light is unfocused and when it is diffuse, it has no power. But when you focus light with a magnifying glass, it can spark a fire. If you focus light even more, it becomes a laser that can cut through steel and kill cancer. One of my neighbors was telling me that her sister was going through a procedure, that now they don't want to, people that go through chemo, they don't have to open them up again. That they now have something like they'll just pinch them a bit and pass whatever they want to pass. That is the power of technology. And everything, they use light in some of these things. He says, your life, my life is like that. The more focused our life is, the more impact it will have, and the more success you will have in reaching your goals. So the topic you are treating tonight is a very great topic, and I want all of us to please pay attention. I know we are sisters, we are mothers, we are busy, but please, I beg of you, the next 30, 40 minutes that will pay attention. So with Jesus joy in my heart, and I want to welcome to take over from me, Odun Ayosoya. Odun Ayosoya is a renowned speaker. She's a colleague, she's a friend. I don't know how to introduce people too much.
It's okay, Bukola,
But I know
fine.
she will do justice to it. So please join me to welcome Odun. Odun, please, you are
It's
welcome.
okay.
It's a pleasure to
Thank
have
you
you.
very much, Bukola. Amazing. Thank you for the emojis, the claps, the hearts. I think it's a pleasure. I don't think it's a pleasure to be here. I drove into my house at about 5:58. I'd been with my sister in the hospital, but I knew that, I had to be here this evening. And I must say that, yes, I see a lot of people I know on the call, amazing. And I know that there are a number of people who I don't know, but by virtue of being here tonight, I now know you. Thank you very much, Bukola, for the invitation. And I'd like to just delve, deep into it. We're going to do a few exercises. I'm also like you, as I speak, I am also learning. There's no one who knows it all. But just journey with me this evening as we speak to the power of a focused mind. And I'll try to make it as real as, possible. And I think the first thing that struck me when Bukola told me about the power of, I believe I'm audible. The first thing that struck me is the fact that if we then are talking about the power of a focused life, a few things jumped out at me. The first thing is power. Now, power explained in two ways. So the first thing is that the focused life has power. Now, the second thing is that we also need power to live a focused life. Now, when you talk about a focused life, we could say the power of life, the power of living life, the power of, but that suggests that the fact that there's focus that qualifies, that the life means that there are a lot of distractions, to life that we live. And I'll start by telling a very short story. A few years ago, I can't remember, but not less than 6 years ago now, there's a mentor of mine, he doesn't know me, I don't know him personally, but I read all his books, I follow him and all of that. And he told the story of a man called Sixto Rodriguez. He said to watch the documentary Searching for Sugar Man. And I did watch it. And a very simple story about a man, and I think I'd done something around it called The Intentional Life. It was about a man called Sixto Rodriguez who I think he lived in Detroit in the US. And, he was an artist. So when he was much younger, he wanted to be a great artist and all of that. But at some point, he released his first album and it just never did well to him. And so he he moved on, started doing other jobs and all of that. But fast forward, his eldest daughter got a call one day. And in fact, there were a lot of rumors around how he died. Some people said he was performing, he poured gasoline on himself, lit himself up, and that's how he died. Some people said he shot himself. So, but the man was still alive, apparently. And then the eldest daughter got a call one day asking if she was the daughter of Sixto Rodriguez. And she said yes. And his life turned around. You know what had happened? This man's album was selling, but he had no clue that his album was actually very successful in Southern Africa. And, he'd moved on. And two guys who owned a record store in South Africa started, investigating. They hired an investigative journalist, and they investigated. The record label, people were making money from his work, but he had no clue. And bottom line is that these guys came, they found him. He did a lot of his songs contributed to apartheid in, the breaking of apartheid in South Africa, and all of that. So a lot of stories around him, but he had no clue. And at the end of the day, these guys came, took him, booked concerts for him all over the world. And I'm not sure he's still alive, but all his concerts were sold out. Now, one thing you will see is that he started out, he had a dream. But how do people make money from your work and you can't even make money from it? And I started ruminating over the story of Sixto Rodriguez. And what jumped out at me was that he probably was not intentional about his life. Now, if he was a bit more intentional, and I'm not judging him, maybe he would have even found out that, look, hey, people are making money off, his own, what do they call it now? His own intellectual property. Let me use that phrase. And the reason I've told the story is that, you see, he moved on and started doing other things. But if there was a lot of focus into what he was doing, his dream to become, a musician, his dream to, rule the world of music and blah, 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 he probably would have paid a little more attention to it. And so I thought to share that story with you to say that, when we're not able, we lose out in living a focused, or what I also call an intentional life. We may lose out on a lot of blessings that are meant for us, whether spiritual, whether physical, blessings. And I think that, so that's the first thing I've started with, and we're coming back to that story. I think another thing I want you to do is that maybe in 3 sentences, just write down the vision of your future. Bukola, how many minutes do I have so that I'm quite spot on the time?
40 minutes, 40.
Okay, so I should be rounding up by 1840. That's 6:40.
No, no, you did start at 6, so 6:50.
6:50. Okay, fine, good. Okay, it's just to help me. Thanks. It's just to help me manage time. So I believe we came with that. This is my own pencil. I have a book here. So just in 3 sentences, or even in 3 words, put down the vision of your future. And we're going to come back to it. What describes the vision of your own future, the vision you have for your future? Okay, so the reason I also asked us to write that is because when you talk about living a focused life, there's something you are focused on. So what it means is that we cannot live a focused life without a vision. And your vision, like I always tell people, yeah, some people like it written down in a very grand format. You understand? But if whether you carry it mentally in your head or you write it down, there's power in what you write down anyway. Bottom line is that there's a vision, and it is that vision that you are pushing towards. It's that vision. And yeah, like Bukola, everybody here, we are sisters, we're people of faith, we believe in Christ. And what that does is that there's a vision, there's a purpose. You know, people say in life they are looking for their purpose, they're looking for their purpose. But the truth is that our purpose is always in us, is with us, is in it. And so we have to have some clarity around the vision of our future, of our life, the vision we have for our lives. And take an example. A few years ago, I also made up my mind to say that, you know what, I will not wake up and let the day happen to me. Rather, I will happen to my day. For those of us, especially some of my colleagues, you know how it can be. You set out doing other things. This is what you want to achieve today, and something just happens and it just derails the whole day. And there are times you find that if you don't plan towards your day, then the day will lead you rather than you leading the day. And that's the power of your vision. And so the first thing for me, leading or living a focused life, is that you must have a vision. Everybody's vision is not going to be the same. Some people's visions will be grand. Some people's visions will be like Alexander taking over the world, or Napoleon Bonaparte, conquering the world. And some people's vision will be like a Mother Teresa. It's about helping people, making people better. And the reason why there's a need for a vision, which will eventually fuels your purpose, is that when you're not walking in purpose or vision, you feel there's an emptiness that you continuously live with. And that emptiness is that, oh, you should be doing something better. You should be doing something bigger. So once you have that vision, then you know that the focus of life for you is in that vision. Is that vision? Is the vision cast in stone? No. As time goes on, as you get more information, as you grow, whether spiritually, physically, mentally, you will see that there will be a few additions and you take out some things, but fundamentally, the vision remains the same. And so the first thing is that vision that we have written down, or those words that we have used to qualify what our future should look like, that is our focus. And so it's like playing that game of what do they call it? I can't remember the name, but that one where you hit the bull's eye, you attempt to throw a dart and you hit the bull's eye, and the bull's eye is your vision. So we cannot live or lead a focused life without a vision. Now, I think the second thing for me is, how ready are you in terms of living that life and leading that life? What do I mean by how ready? Everything comes with what do you call it? With a sacrifice, with some level of discipline. I had the coach who tells me, he says, discipline is when you give yourself a command and you obey it. Simple. You tell yourself, God, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to do it. So with the vision, there's a demand. And why is there a demand? I read somewhere, a quote in The Secret of Ages, a book I read years ago. And the book, the person said, at the end of it all, they looked at life and they realized that life could have given much more than they bargained for. Life could have paid them. It was like they were like laborers who had done some work. And it's there in the Bible. The laborers who go out, and then, you'd realize that life could have yielded much more than what we get. And so that's where the second thing, after we're clear, and we continue to be clear about our vision, is what are we going to do to make it happen? When we talk about the power of a focused life, it suggests that there are distractions. There are distractions that can, or spanners that can be thrown in our way, and we are not able, to fully embrace or fully realize, birth that vision. So the second thing we're going to do again, after we've written, the vision